This is Dr. Justina Agnieszka Chevalier. This next number 6 video is about what to do next once having that mind content analyzed, establishing who is a real life possibility for life partner and who can be as a relationship option in interaction rejected for good as such, enabling lifelong romantic commitment to someone else and someone else's, and if that is also wish, is celibacy wanted one that is non-forced by lack of such action or by impeding such collaboration in person. I think that requires some specification. First of all, there are steps to follow. First of all, open up in Excel, make a list of all of persons that in described in video drugless mind expansion constitute in order of magnitude obstacle to living in present moment in mind content of yours, because you live a relationship with an absent person, a stranger, or a person who is of a different type of relationship. So make in such list of persons in order of magnitude in time of appearance and intensity of sexual and romantic ideation in visions and dreams about that person, from most impeding any other relationship in physical presence, and impeding also a wanted and non-forged by a non-pursuit of such action celibacy. That is to prevent mental and also physical diseases and deterioration, as well as financial ruin and non-stable pursuit of goods. Once you have that list, so from one that is most impeding other, even most preferred life activities because of ideation of sexual lovemaking and a serious relationship in mind, and when you pursue a date with a stranger or someone else, impedes such because of fidelity, because of that mind content. So make that list first. If you lack information now, such as contact of that person, name, telephone, address of those persons, email, way to contact through Facebook or Twitter, use Google and use computer first to obtain such information. If you are in any detention center, a facility that impedes doing such, ask for assistance and specify that you live fictitious relationship in your mind that needs verification in real life with content. Ask to reciprocity of love and intentional pursuit of a child and life with you, and tell that person, explain that regardless of that person's status, marital status, social status, age, or any other indicatives, that person is source of your disease and being there, and source of inability to move on to work and to have healthy relationship, as well as a source of non-possibility to feel dignified and lack of concentration, and that non-doing such creates abuse of psychotropic drugs and drugs of common abuse. Explain that. And then ask for participation of forces and units that are designed for that. So, reputation checkers are designed for that, online and in person. Private detectives, police detectives, all of police forces, correctional facilities are for that, to establish a way to contact that person. And approaching to do so, explain, as I said, I, during the day, in my own mind content, am unable to concentrate on normally preferred favorite of mine activities, and other relationships or commit as being an adult or an adolescent to a lifelong relationship, loving one, because I have spontaneous visions, dreams, or and need to instead cease these activities, or that person appears as that loving, loved in mind person, that person that I am committed to or would like to commit to or would like to pursue, such as dating, impeding real life relationships, and I need to contact that person to declare such state called being in love with someone or consideration of such as a serious suitor, and make sure that it is to determine a reciprocity of such state first, using that hexa method in seriousness, intensity, and impediment of that person's everyday activities, marital life, collaboration, if that person has co-workers in some sort of work, as well as life with children, friends, etc., as well as wanted celibacy, if that is the wish. And so, presented as such, explain next that all of relationships also that could become making any of the result of pursuit of such a relationship called dating, or a verification of that person's capacity for dating in love and desire declaration, to wanting above all others that person as source of own children in desire and adoration for that person, to verify for reciprocity and to make sure that that person has chance, is not threatened nor forced to living fiction, also dragged up on something, isolated or punished or harassed or harmed. And so then it is when that person declares such, and it is credible it is when it constitutes still your mind content in spontaneous visions and dreams, and that person declared that it is so for that person as well, then it is credible because if for you it happens as well. And that person then has to arrange for possibility of dating and pursuit of such a relationship, in no guarantee if there's more than one person on that list in Excel spreadsheet that you've elaborated, that if that is a man, that male will win you over to over others to have children and life together. And remember, regardless of importance of that person's social status, work, and age and other characteristics. Or if you are a female, that person actually will correspond in magnitude of desire to have children because of your personal achievements and goodness as material for the father of her own offspring potentially, or in desire that results from your pursuit of that person as opposed to all others in actual instinct to protect, provide that person as opposed to all others. You see, that reduces status of all those prostitutes and victims to being demeaned also in many places, or detained from being considered as serious. If a man notoriously prefers to, for instance, dedicate on salary to a hotel clerk as opposed to his own spouse, and would prefer in own mind content to have children with her, because that marriage is not for that person leading towards mental health, and neither it is in safety good for mental health and well-being of that spouse. And we deserve to know all that, and it is for greater good for all. And so determination, if you do not remember such from the past, it can be also done in hypnosis regression therapies, meaning obtention of information about most adored, most loved and desired person in degree of reciprocity and seriousness in your mind, described in video drugless mind expansion. All those components as close as possible to be present, need to be present, to determine that that person impedes new relationships, never pursued or new relationships. And next, when that is done, one by one, having in that Excel spreadsheet telephone, email, address, make sure that you have chance to elaborate, once you have that information from therapist, limited the time from 1 week to 1 month, depending on what you are put on and how severely you are actually in distress from being pursued sexually or enforced as such, or detained because of being pursued outside sexually and trying to fight back without any protection, and in many variations of that also, or accused of such pursuits and forced to such while the person is deprived of income to provide, while the person does not want to, for instance. And so all of these persons then, one by one, once that limited short-term therapy oriented on remembering of such memory of fantasy, vision and dreams, and memory of relationships not finished, not pursued, but as serious. Okay, first it needs to be established, and then all of those persons, one by one, approached to corroborate that that person by any chance does not want lifelong relationship and children with you, regardless who you are, in such self-confidence derived of knowing that you are capable, based on mind contact and bodily impression described in that mind, drugless mind expansion, to provide that person devotion and love and desire and children that person deserves, in case that person feels that way, in reciprocity, for men and women alike. And then so one by one you corroborate with that person that kind of state, if that state is impeding that person's work and thriving in activities, making for that person, giving that person a chance without pressuring to make for such arrangements, and then making that known also to that person, that that person is free to pursue a sexual until serious basis for relationship is determined for two relationship, and sexual relationship and tender relationship depending on a realization of being self and realization of being alone and possibility of intimacy, de facto one or one that is actually in absence of others present as remediation or adaptation mechanisms associated later with psychotic disorders and personality disorders and criminal behavior that I will address as the next series of tools in continuation. So one by one these persons then have to be approached and invited out, and I suggest that first you start with declaration of own love. So describe in on own words how you love and desire and are serious about it for that specific person, to say if woman that person has chance to pursue you, if they feel the same magnitude by any chance of love and desire, etc., and make sure that this is delivered in person to that person each. Use the most common means of mail. Use also email. Make sure that you can also hire police to assure escort of such messages as of highest importance, and that that person is not impeded from reading it and consideration each. Next, when that is over and you go through all of these persons, wait for that person, if you're a female, pursuit of you as a lifelong sexual partner, preferred one. That's it. And give it time and inform about presence of the others. And then ask police, private detective, or whoever is responsible for it, that assures if woman that the person is in capacity, in freedom and capacity to pursue you, that message that you are impeded from activities and or prevented from a commitment, happy one, to sexual love and children to another person, that person knows about it and can corroborate if that person feels the same way and desires you the same way, and in person pursue you, or that person will not do so and reject you, even if it caused that person personal harm and harming another in a fake commitment, or that person actually does not feel that way, or you, when that person pursues, prefer in greater devotion and greater desire and love, in such also present in the other person, one of the other suitors as a female or one of the other maidens as a male. which is called rivalship and normal courtship of love.